Now that is cool. Okay, so that shot that you saw, that is called a vertigo shot. And basically what you do is that you like zoom out your camera lens while you're moving towards your subject. And that gives the feeling that the background moves further away and it looks trippy. And the reason that that shot looked so smooth is because I used the Rhino Slider with the Arc 2 head and the focus motors. And if you've seen my latest videos, then you have seen those really like smooth product B-rolls that I've included when I'm talking about a product, and that is where I've used the Rhino Slider with Arc 2 head. So the slider itself is made from carbon fiber, which means that it's super lightweight and it's really sturdy as well. So you don't have to worry that it's gonna bend or break or anything like that when you're putting it in the slider bag. And it's also really lightweight, so it's super easy to bring with you on location when you're about to shoot a project. And you can also put it like standing on its feet because it has this like super small rubbery feet that you can like whoop, and then you can put it down on that if you want to have it like standing on the table or something like that. The slider itself is cool, but when you have the Arc 2 head and the motor to it, then that is where the real cool thing starts to happen. So the first thing that I noticed when I was unboxing the Arc 2 head is that it is heavy. Like it feels like a solid piece of iron. It's like, oh. But the reason for that is because it has a battery in the whole contraption that is the Arc 2, and that basically powers the motor, the focus motor, and the different kind of functions with your camera. And you can even like plug in a battery into your camera so that the camera is running off of the battery from the Arc 2 instead of the internal battery of the camera. The cool thing with the Arc 2 head is basically that it feels like an Xbox controller because you have the joystick here in the front and then you have the joystick up here that you can move the camera around with. So it's like when you're holding it, feels like it's a gamepad basically, like a. But one of the coolest things that I think with the Arc 2 head is that it screws on and off automatically to the slider. Like when you put it down, you just go into the menu and then hit OK, and then it's like, and then you're done because it uses the pan motor to like screw onto the slider head. So the Arc 2 can move on two different axes. It can move all the way around like 360 and then it can tilt up and down with the camera, and it can do that at the same time. So you can get that like really fluid motion into your shot where the camera is moving, like feels like it's moving basically a half a circle around the subject that you have. And the way that that works is basically that you set a keyframe of the position of the slider and the Rhino Arc 2 head, and when you're satisfied with that, then you just go to the next position and then adjust the camera just the way you want it, and then you set another keyframe, and then you can choose a couple of different options. You can choose the duration of the entire move all the way down from 6 seconds up to 1 minute, and then you can also choose to loop the move so it goes back and forth between the two keyframes that you set up. The slider moves extremely smooth across the entire range that it can move. And when I tried it out, I did think that it was going to be a little bit bumpy when it was moving really slowly, but you can't see any kind of bumps or jitters or anything like that. The motor is really smooth when it's moving the slider. The focus motor is also a really cool thing to have if you buy the bundle, because you can use that with cinema lenses so that it controls the focus. And basically how it works is that when you have it plugged into the Arc 2, you can keyframe that as well so it goes along with the camera movements, which is totally dope. The downside with that though is that a lot of the Sony lenses are focused by wire, which basically means that it is a digital focus. So when you're moving the focus fast or slow, it's gonna adjust according to that. So it's not gonna give you the same exact result if you set some keyframes. So that is a bummer. Maybe I need to buy a cinema lens. Huh? I also used this whole setup when I was shooting the blacksmith cinematic video, because I tried to like incorporate some of those like cinematic shots with the slider, and it worked really, really well. Especially when you have those longer focal lengths and you want to have that sliding motion, then this is a really good thing to use to get that professional look into your video. There's also apparently a lot of different functions that you can do with the app, but you know me, I have an Android, Samsung Galaxy S10, and there is no supported Android app, so I can't show you the different features that the app has, but apparently you can do some face tracking and it can follow you around and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So after using this for almost 2 weeks, I gotta say that this entire setup that I got right here is a really pro level setup. If you're thinking about buying a slider that is easy to use and really intuitive, then this slider with the Arc 2 head is something that I can highly recommend. It is by no means a cheap setup, but it will give you some like really professional looking footage. Again, I want to say a huge thank you to Rhino Camera Gear for sending this slider bundle out to me so that I can play around with that. It is amazing that they want to support the channel so that I can create even better content for you guys. I would love to know, which slider would you go for? Would you go for any kind of Edelchrome slider, or would you go for this slider with the Arc 2 head? Do drop a comment below, because I would love to hear your thoughts. So thanks so much for watching. Really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do give it a thumbs up, because it does help a lot. So thanks so much for that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, that'd be highly appreciated. It's gonna be down here. Still just a call out, so I'm gonna point down here instead. What do you think about the new cap? Huh? Logo, I think it looks cool. Peter from Sweden. Saludos.